Today's lesson is 5.4, solving one-step equations. Now, we're doing operations on all equations. What that means, we're going to be solving one-step equations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. The golden rule for when you're solving an equation is whatever you do to one side of the equation, you must do to the other. Can you put this up for me? Thank you. So whatever you do to one side of the equation, you must do to the other. I do. Solving equations. When solving an equation, the goal is to what? Do you guys remember?
Get a number. Get the final answer.
How do we get that final answer, though? If I have this,
evaluate or simplify.
if I have a plus 5 equals 10, when solving an equation, the goal is to get what by itself?
The variable.
The variable. Because once we get the variable by itself, then we're able to understand what number represents that variable. So, when solving an equation, the goal is to get the variable by itself.
What's your team color?
Great.
Green?
Mine is white.
I have all freshmen.
Mine's dark pink.
Mine is all white. Mine's freaking green. I hate green.
Mine's like
All right.
Moron.
All right, let's focus and then we can talk about advisory after this. I'd like to hear about it.
Solving the equation, the goal is to.
Okay. Solving equations. Now, to get rid of a number in an equation, we use two words. It's specific.
Addition and subtraction.
Sometimes. Or you can use multiplication or division. But if I say a plus 5 equals 10, and I want to get rid of that plus 5, what do I do?
Minus.
Minus 5. What is it called when you take the opposite of a number?
Reciprocal. No.
That's when you take the opposite of a fraction. That's a good guess, though.
What's the first letter?
I.
I honestly was going to say reciprocal
Inverse.
as well. So.
Yes.
Operation.
Perfect. Nice, Cole. Chandler. So to get rid of a number in an equation, we use inverse operation, which is basically taking the opposite of the operation that the equation is saying. And that's going to allow us to get the variable by itself. Okay. When we are solving equations, yes, sir. When we're solving equations, I am going to be so picky about how I want your work set up. I'm warning you straight off the bat that if you don't show the work that I'm asking you, I will take points off for it. Now, you'll say, Miss Lidikin, so extra, showing all this extra work. I know what I'm doing, but when we get into equations that are multi-step or more intense equations, it will help keep your work nice, neat, and organized. So, anytime we're solving equations, the first thing you're going to do is circle the variable. Every single time. After we circle the variable, you guys, I think, have called it the wall. I call it draw the line of equality. Okay? The bridge. So I call it the line of equality. So we're going to circle our variable, draw a line of equality. Now, this is our golden rule. Equality, equal. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. Now, the goal of solving equations is to get the variable by itself. If I want to get the variable by itself, what do I have to do? Don't tell me. It just totally lost. Don't tell me. You're on my case. Josh. Okay. Plus 5. So you took the opposite of minus 5, which was plus 5. What's that called when you do the opposite? No? Can somebody help him? What's it?
Inverse operation.
Inverse operation. So we're going to take a plus 5. Golden rule, whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other. Now, if you notice, I didn't just plop a 5 on both sides. I showed that I was taking the opposite of minus 5 and adding 5. So if I put a plus 5 here, I have to put a plus 5 here. I want to see those operation signs, okay? Now, a minus 5 and a plus 5 They cancel each other out. So I show that that cancels. Meaning on my left side of my line of equality, what remains?
5 plus 3.
On my left side of my line of equality, what do I have left?
A.
A. So I bring that A on down. Your equal sign then goes on your line of equality. Okay? So your equal sign then goes on your line of equality. And then you just solve. What's 3 plus 5?
We haven't even taught all
And then your final answer, you...
Box it.
You're absolutely right. You should have been taught this.
this. Yeah. We
Okay.
Yeah. I can
The
remember.
first unit of this semester or quarter is going to be review. You should have done, like the stuff that I taught you last week and this week, you should have touched base on in Algebra 1A or in previous classes.
Like
Okay.
This I remember a lot.
Good, good. I promise I'm going to make them harder though. All right, example number 2. Go ahead and get it down. Now, in my previous school setting, we always made sure that the variable was on we didn't care what side the variable was on. If it started on the left, we left it on the left. If it started on the right, we left our variable on the right, okay? At Triad, the math department likes the variable always to be on the left. So we're lucky, in example number 4 here. Is that, are we already example number 4? What happened there?
Say. Oh, I just wrote down.
That's okay. I need to fix that. This is example number 2, you guys. I need to fix, I don't know what happened to my slide there. Okay, so, same steps. We're gonna start by doing what?
Circle the variable.
Circle my variable, then what?
Draw your branch or line value bar.
Line of equality.
Line of equality.
Now, solving one-step equations, or any equation, our goal is to get the variable by itself. We do that by using
Inverse operation.
inverse operation. So the inverse operation for plus 5 is
Minus 5.
golden rule.
Whatever you do that side, you do the other side.
Okay. I show that my plus 5 and minus 5 cancel. On my left side, what do I bring down?
The D,
And on my right side,
the answer
which is
to that, which is 6.
6. And what did you notice that I put on my line of equality?
A box.
What's on my line of equality?
Equal.
An equal sign. That's showing that D is equal to 6. I do want to see that equal sign on your line of equality.
I thought we were supposed to do that. I was doing that.
I'm telling you, I'm real picky about how I like my work. All right, moving right along. My goodness. Example number 3.
This is easy.
So example number 3. It's easy. Okay, Chance, tell me what to do then.
So you draw your line of equality,
Okay.
and then it's you subtract 7.
Eh.
You circle the variable.
Circle your variable. Okay.
Then you subtract 7.
Good. How did you know that you're supposed to subtract 7? Did it have anything to do with this sign behind it?
No.
No. The sign in front of the E is just saying that our number, that E is a positive.
It's a positive unless it has numbers.
Good. So we're going to take the opposite of a positive, which is a minus or a subtract. And then I saw on your work, whatever you did to one side, you went ahead and did to the other. I show that my 7s cancel. I bring down my variable E, my equal sign on my line of equality, and then I just take 11 minus 7. And because it's my final answer, I box the entire thing. I don't just box the 4. I'm boxing E equals 4, because that's my complete answer.
We have homework, you should make this one.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, if I'm teaching notes on one-step equation, what do you think your homework's going to be on? Yeah. I'm just going to just pass on up and do two-step equations. No, I usually try to make your homework based on what we took notes over. All right, so this is going to be similar to the example
4.
that we just did.
Is that example?
So this is going to be example number 4. Because, you know, as a math teacher, I can't count my slides. Well, I don't know what happened there. We're going to set it up the same way. Variable circled. My line of equality is drawn. Solving equations, my goal is to get the variable by itself. So how do I get the variable f by itself, Maddie?
You add the sum of
Yeah, so the inverse operation of minus 7 is plus 7. And I love how she said you're going to add 7 on the both sides. Because whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. I'm showing that my 7's cancel on the left.
You bring down your F,
I bring down my F, then what?
your equal sign,
And
46. And box it.
good job.
I was through. Amazing.
I'm acing this.
You're going to ace this quiz good. Now don't forget, the quiz is also going to have Monday, Tuesday's lesson on it. So it's going to be over 2 lessons, 5.3, 5.4. Okay. If I go too fast, let me know, but otherwise we're going to keep going. So we just did example number 4. Let's do example number 5. So,
Where's the name of the
backside.
page?
Woo! Look at all those examples. We're going to circle the variable. We're going to draw the line of equality. What is different about this equation? Variables on the opposite side. So we're going to go ahead and solve it just like this. And then we're going to write our answer with the variable on the left. Okay? So we're basically just going to switch our answer around in just a moment. But that'll be the last step that we do. So I circled my variable. I drew my line of equality. I want to get the variable by itself. So what do I get rid of? By whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. That cancels. On my left side, what do I bring down? My left side, what do I bring down?
Oh, left side.
7 equals G. Now, this one's pretty easy, right? My G is positive, my 7 is positive. So all I have to do is just flip them around. Now, if you notice, I still kept my variable, my equal sign on my line of equality, and my 7. So make sure that line goes all the way through both equal signs. Question?
Will we get a point off if we don't box the G? Or
If you don't circle the G? Yep,
okay.
you will. I'm real
Can I
picky.
box it?
Nope.
Here?
Why don't we want to box it?
Is this the same as the bottom?
Because if you box the G, I'm going to think that's your final answer, right? Yeah, so you don't want to box the G because I'm going to think that's the final answer.
Yeah, you put a box down.
All right.
Yeah.
Example number 6. That looks like 86, doesn't it? Okay. Again, my variable's on the right side, so I'm going to have to switch that around once I'm done solving for the variable. So I circle my variable because I don't want to box it because it's not my final answer. To get the variable by itself, what do I have to do, Riley?
Go +2.
Okay. And golden rule. Whatever I do to one side, that's right. Okay, so my -2 and +2 cancel. Riley, what's -7 plus 2? Think of it like money. You owe me $7. You paid me 2. How much do you still owe me? -7 plus 2. No, you owe me $7. Okay? You're like, Miss Litteken, I need $7 because I'm real hungry at lunchtime. I'm like, all right, Riley, here's $7. You come in tomorrow, you're like, Miss Litteken, I only have $2 to pay you back. So how much are you still going to owe me? 5. So -5. And I bring down my equal sign and my variable h. Now, I don't want my variable written on my right side. The reason why I don't want that variable written on the right side, when we start doing graphing, you're always going to set up your equation with the variable on the left, and you're going to solve on your right. So let's go ahead and flip this around. So when I go to flip my answer around, what does it look like?
H equals -5.
Good. Questions? All right, let's keep moving then.
I've been waiting for them not to be negative because,
You don't like negatives?
whenever they're negative, they confuse me because then I just flip it from the start. Like this.
Oh, you just rewrite the equation?
Yeah.
So what Chance was saying, he's like, when I see my variable on the right side, he's like, I automatically just flip it, meaning he just automatically writes it like this. Is that going to matter? No. So if you would rather rewrite your equation at the beginning, you can do that. I'd rather just rewrite my answer because to me it's less things I have to rewrite. And my hand gets cramped up after writing so much. Okay, goal is to get the variable by itself. What do I need to get rid of?
13.
13. So how do I get rid of that 13? Okay. And because the 13's on this side with the variable, that's the 13 I'm getting rid of. Okay, so I'm minus 13. Whatever I do on one side, I do on the other. That cancels on my right. Now, what do I bring down on my right side of my line of equality? The I. I bring down my equal sign. Here's where I'm actually solving. Well, I canceled that out over here. But remember, I'm solving for the variable I to see what number represents that I. So what is 13 minus 13? So you can't just show that it cancels. You have to show that number that it represents. So if I would substitute the 0 in for I, if I took 13 plus, remember that word substitute, I equals 0, so 13 plus 0, does that equal 13?
Yes.
Yeah, so then therefore that equation would be true. So our answer is right. Except for, did you notice that I put a box around that at first? Because I'm not used to switching them yet. So what's my final answer going to actually look like them in a box?
I equals 0 without box.
There you go. Okay. Example 7 done. We're almost halfway done.
Other classes.
All right, example number 8. Oh, sorry. All kinds of negatives in there for you. That's all right, no biggie. Yeah, it is a big deal.
No, I said it's fine.
Okay,
That's a J, right?
that is a J. All right, how am I going to get that J by itself? If you guys notice, I'm already circled my variable. I already drew my line of equality because at this point in my teaching career, I just say it in my sleep. How do I get the J by itself?
Plus 19.
Plus 19.
Both sides on
Both sides. You guys are amazing.
You break down the J on the right.
Okay.
And then on the left, you get 12.
Y'all agree with them?
And then you swap.
And then you swap them. Any questions on that one?
Nope.
If you're having problems with your positives and negatives, either 1, see me, or 2, you can use your calculator. All right, example number 9 coming right up. Ooh, what's going on with this one?
Yeah, you gotta divide by negative.
How do you know? But wait, why? Why wouldn't I add it?
Because it's multiplying to that E.
So I wouldn't just take a plus 7 to get rid of it? No,
It's
why?
multiplying to that E.
How do you know?
Because it's right next to it.
Yeah, there's no operation sign separating the 7 and the E. If a number is touching a variable, it means to multiply. What kind of number is this? A negative. So the opposite or the inverse operation for multiplication is division.
When you divide, you take the sign with it.
Yes, you do. When you divide, you take the sign with it because that's the kind of number that it is. So what number am I trying to get rid of?
-7.
If you leave that negative there, then you have negative E. And you still have that negative sign, and that variable is still not by itself, and you have to get that variable by itself. Okay? 28 divided by -7.
It's -5.
That is correct. We don't have to worry about flipping it because my variable's on my left.
Easy.
Easy peasy? Good. Maybe not this lesson.
I like class.
Good, good. You're really gonna like next week then, okay?
Better enjoy this week.
I have 3 days to lesson plan for next week's stuff.
Oh, that's the next one?
That's the next one. Example number 10.
I just can't wait till the last day of school.
Girl, you got a minute. All right.
Very soon.
So I'm gonna circle my variable.
I'm only in this class for 1 semester.
I'm gonna draw my line of equality, and we're all saying a silent prayer. I'm
I
teasing.
get my soccer coach
We are gonna
next
miss you.
next season.
All right, here we go. F divided by -3 times -2. How do I get the F by itself?
You gotta multiply.
Yes, the opposite or inverse of divide is multiply. How I'm going to show that I'm going to multiply it? I'm going to put my little dot to show multiplication out here to the left. And am I going to multiply that by 3 or -3?
Negative.
Take that negative with it. Whatever I do to one side,
Do the other.
I do to the other.
Is this gonna be on our homework too, or just
Yep.
Do you think she's gonna
Any
teach us
negative,
lessons?
negative,
Thank you. Did you guys just hear Ben say that? He said what?
Negative equals positive.
6. Good. So negative 2 times negative 3 is going to get me a positive. 2 times 3 is 6. Dylan, I'm going to extra quiet today. Read this for me.
-12 equals G times -2.
Are you sure about that?
No.
You're right. I saw you hesitate though, and I threw that example in there to kind of make you hesitate because there is a parentheses around the -2, and there's a G touching the parentheses. It means to multiply. But if I drop that parentheses, what would it mean to do? Minus.
Plus.
Okay? I get what you're saying. So we're going to circle our variable, draw our line. Now, as Dylan said, is G times -2. So the inverse operation for times is divide. What am I dividing by?
-2.
I showed that my 2's cancel on my right. On my left, what's -12 divided by -2?
6
Positive 6. Good. Ben, what do I bring down on my right?
equals G.
Okay. Now, I don't like my variable on my right side, so I just swap it. There we go. You guys feel like you're pros at this? Good.
Oh my god, I spaced out so bad.
Example number 12. Example number 12.
Everybody got to chew on their homework.
Okay.
Opener. They figured that out. All right, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Have a good day.
You too, thanks.
So I drew my line. I circled my variable. Emily, how do I get the variable by itself?
Times
By.
3 on both sides.
Nice job. Which is going to equal what on my left? You sound so manly, Emily.
Did you say she said 1, 1?
Chance was saying the answer.
I mean, I'm tired.
Okay. What's wrong with this answer?
Gotta swap it.
Gotta swap it.
Are you tired?
Yeah. I don't even know how to freaking brain
All right.
So since I'm using so that students don't go ahead, they get ahead of.
Uh-huh. You like my technique? Yeah, thanks.
Because that would have been something I would have done.
Uh-huh. Like, man, I want to be done with this. All right, example number, what am I on finally? 13. Ooh. Eee. What's wrong with this? I don't like this.
I don't like it either.
It's a one.
Wait, would you circle variable out of 1 for the
You would. We were going to circle that variable, and we're going to squeeze a 1 right in there. So I have -1 times I.
in 1?
So how do I get that I by itself?
Plus 1.
No. What's that I doing?
You got it's multiplying. You got to divide
It's
it.
touching that I. What you just said, though, Josh, is one of the most common mistakes when you're multiplying one set of equations. Okay? So we're going to divide. How do I get that I by itself? Somebody said it.
Times.
Divide by -1.
Sorry.
Cancel. Right side, I bring down my I. Left side, I bring down.
13.
There we go. And as Josh says, swap it. Well, now, because I'm swapping it, I'm putting my I backwards.
Hey, putting your eye back.
I wrote it like a J. Just totally messed that up.
You got your eyes weird.
I write my I's weird?
Yeah, I write my T's and A's.
Is that how you want to see it? I wrote it with a tail.
Yes.
I do my T's.
Honestly, I could take A.
You cheese with the tail.
T's. I do my A's weird too.
I had a student that used to wear a tail.
Really?
A tail?
What?
Look at that dog calling on too. with his-
Jacob Pierce.
He would tuck a tail in the back of his pants, and it'd be about mid-calf, and he'd wear a tail. He was one of the most creative and most unique individuals I probably have ever met.
He wore it to school. I was in band.
He was,
Art class.
God, this was years ago though. But yeah.
Probably at first.
Okay, here we go. 1 equals j divided by -1. How do I get the j by itself, you guys?
You gotta multiply by 1, -1.
By -1. Whatever I do to one side, I
Do the other.
do to the other. What's -1 times 1?
-1.
Equals.
J.
Flip it, swap it,
Bop it.
and box it. Flip it, swap it, box it. Bop it. Did you say bop it? I thought you said box it. We should have a bop it championship
I'll
sometime.
beat you all.
All right, last one. All right, Hannah, I'm picking on you on this one. Oh, saved by Hannah.
We don't get the last one?
You don't get the last one. No, actually, for your last one, this is what I want you to do. Create a one-step equation
Okay.
and solve it.
So what we've been doing.
Yep, create a one-step equation. I do not care what operation that you choose to write. You can make it a one-step equation with addition or subtraction or multiplication or division. I don't care. Just make a one-step equation and then solve it.